is here. Hey kitty, how you doing? Off work right now. It's Tuesday. I'm kind of just chilling on my couch, trying to finish reading this book that I've been reading forever. It feels like I'm on page, I think like 154, and there's 193 pages, so I'm getting close. Hopefully I can knock this out in 2 days because it is taking me an embarrassingly long time to read this book. I'm a slow reader in general. Like I'll read maybe like 10 pages a day and take my time. But I need to knock this out because I've been enjoying this book, and my boyfriend, he's been finished for like 2 to 3 weeks. So I need to catch up so we can really talk about it. But today at work, it was a good day overall. I got there around 6 o'clock and I had 2 plastic cases scheduled in my room. I had a facelift and then a breast reduction. And how I set up for the facelift is instead of using like a regular ET tube, we use something called an oral ray for facelifts, and that just helps because the tube bends. It's like more flexible, so instead of just like when we put it in, it's just coming out the mouth, it's able to bend, so it can bend towards the patient's like feet, like pointing towards their feet, so it's out of the way of the surgeon when he or she is like making incisions and working on the face. It just makes it better working surgical conditions. And then I also use something called an LTA, which is a syringe that has 4% topical lidocaine drawn up in it. And how I use it is basically after I get a view of the vocal cords, I spray the lidocaine on the patient's vocal cords so it numbs it up really well. So then when we extubate the patient at the end of the surgery, they're less prone to coughing and bucking after the case. And then especially for some cases where the patient may have like delicate sutures, or you really don't want them coughing and bucking, it could ruin the surgery somehow. LTAs are really good to use, and a lot of surgeons will like recommend it to be used during their surgery if they feel like it's necessary. And then that was pretty much it. And then for the breast reduction, since it's a shorter case, they just had an LMA, and nothing really too unique for the breast reduction that I can think of to talk about. But for the breast reduction, we do sit the patient up a couple of times during the procedure, just so the doctor can stand at the end of the bed and kind of see what it looks like when the patient's going to be like standing up and like looking at themselves in a mirror. So we do like kind of like lift the bed up and down multiple times. So we have their arms out on an arm board and then kind of like strapped in, so then when we sit them up, their arms aren't like moving and falling off the bed. And that's pretty much it for my cases for the day. And then I'm just gonna give you guys kind of like a idea of what drugs I typically use during most cases. So of course I use like propofol for induction, and then also Versed, And that helps with just anxiety. Like with anxiety, before we take the patient back, I usually give Versed in pre-op when we're rolling back, and then it hits them pretty quickly. Like within 30 seconds, they're just like, oh, I'm feeling it. Like I'm feeling it. And then besides that, I also use fentanyl, especially with ET2 placement, because it can be very stimulating. And if you don't use like fentanyl or some type of narcotic, you'll usually see their blood pressure shoot up and their heart rate shoot up. But especially with the fentanyl crisis going on now, like for anesthetists and anesthesiologists, we're kind of leaning more towards opioid-free methods of pain relief. And that's still kind of slowly taking off, but it's definitely being discussed more. It was definitely being discussed when I was in school, to kind of steer away from narcotics as much as you can. But that's another topic. Okay, so besides like my induction drug of propofol and using like Versed for anxiety and fentanyl for analgesic effect, some of the other things I use is Decadron and Zofran during my procedures, and that's to help with PONV, which stands for post-op nausea and vomiting, because nausea and vomiting can be common after surgery, especially among certain patient populations, and especially depending on the surgery, that can be common. So that's pretty much what I always give, unless it's contraindicated for some reason, like if the patient has like an allergy or some other reason why they shouldn't be getting those medications. And then another medication I typically use when I'm intubating a patient at the beginning of the case is rocuronium, which is a paralytic. And then some drugs that I don't use every day but are important always to have in the med cart is emergency drugs such as albuterol, which is a bronchodilator. And then another thing is atropine, which increases the heart rate if the patient is having symptomatic bradycardia. And then epinephrine is important to have because, of course, we use that for codes. And then it also can be used in, like if the patient has an allergic reaction to a medication. That's pretty much it. Those are the main drugs I pretty much always use, and the emergency drugs that I always have in the cart. And then there's other drugs that we use, but it depends on the case and the patient. So besides work, I have some exciting news. I am going to semi-foster a cat for a week. So one of the foster parents at the animal shelter that I foster cats at is going on vacation for a week, and she like wrote on our Facebook message page. Like we have a Facebook message page for all the foster parents, so we can kind of bounce off ideas to each other, or if there's an animal that needs to be adopted, that way we post it on that Facebook group. So she posted that she's going out of town and needs somebody to watch her cat for a week. So I volunteered because I haven't had a cat that I've fostered in like 2 months, and I'm kind of missing having an animal here. So I'm really excited. She's coming over, like right now she's on her way. So I would definitely film the little baby girl. Well, she's not a baby girl. I don't even know how old she is, but I know it's a little girl and she's black and white. I don't know why I keep getting little cute black and white cats, but the owner said she's super friendly and cuddly. So I'm excited about having her here. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully she doesn't scratch up my couch. The cat is here. I didn't realize she was 9. I thought she was like a little baby cat, but she's 9. But oh, she's here. I have her litter box set up. This is how I always introduce the foster cats. I know, Boo Boo, I'm about to let you know. I always introduce them in the bathroom so they kind of have a safe space. Okay, you ready? She pooped on the way over here, you guys. So I'm gonna have to clean that up. She pooped in the, sorry, this is not very organized. She pooped in the crate, so I'm about to get my gloves on to get that. Okay, Boo Boo, come on, girl. Sorry. Oopsie, there she is. How to flip this? Welcome. Welcome to your temporary home. I might have to wipe her down. I think she got a little poo on her side. Look at her. Hey girl. I haven't had an old cat yet, besides like the family cat I owned. Cat is doing good so far. She's kind of just roaming. There she goes. Hold on, sorry. There she goes. Hi girl. How are you doing? You're a senior. I didn't know that. But yeah, she's a 9-year-old little gal. Yeah, and she's just kind of roaming. Glad she's not too fearful. She's just taking in her surroundings, you know, doing her thing. Bopped her little head. I showed her the litter box. I put her in the litter box. So I'm hoping she does not have any. She pooed on the way over here. It's not making me feel secure right now. That was not the best welcome, but hopefully she gets it together and we can be besties for the next week. So I just got home from work. Today was a longer day. I was there from about 6:30 to 4, and this is why. Well, this is partially the reason why. So I got to work and I was like in the process of doing my anesthesia machine check, which is what we do every day. At the beginning of the day, we do a machine check just to make sure the machine is functioning before we like bring patients back and do surgery. And then when I went to do the anesthesia machine check, the oxygen failed. Like as soon as you turn it on, it makes sure the pipeline that brings in the oxygen to the anesthesia machine is working properly, and it failed. So usually what that means at the surgery center, since we don't have like a huge pipeline system similar to a hospital, we have a bunch of O2 tanks in like this extra back room. So I was just like, oh, probably the O2 tanks ran out, because sometimes that happens at the outpatient center and we just have to like switch them out, or somebody that works at the center switches them out for us. So when the person that does that went to do it, he noticed that all the pipeline tanks were drained and they just got changed yesterday. So another guy had to come, and then he, like an hour later he got there, he saw that there was an actual like leak in the manifold of the oxygen tank system. I don't know exactly what that means, but there was a leak that actually needed to be fixed. So just everything got delayed. We were literally all kind of like hanging around for 4 hours. So from like 7 to about 11 o'clock, we all were just kind of like sitting around waiting for the stuff to get repaired. And yeah, it just made it for a longer day overall, but I'm so glad it's done. I'm so glad it's done. That's just what sometimes happens, especially at outpatient centers. Things break or mishaps happen and they have to get fixed before we can proceed with anything. So that's what happened today, and hopefully the problem is fixed so nothing else like that occurs for the rest of the week, because that was a lot. But it's good. I'm so happy because since today was a longer day, I found out that tomorrow I had the day off since there's not that many cases, which I'm so thankful for. I want to finish reading my Zora Neale Hurston book, Their Eyes Were Watching God. I have about 70 pages left of that, so I'm looking forward to just having a day to relax and read. And for some reason, I don't know what's going on, but I have like a horrible headache. I usually get a pretty bad headache maybe once every 2 weeks. And I think it's mostly related to like the pollen and everything, because when I walked outside today, there was pollen all over my car. So I'm thinking it's the pollen. So I took a Tylenol. But my fiance had made the recommendation not too long ago that maybe instead of like just having Tylenol, I should buy Claritin or something like that to kind of see if it's like allergy related. So I may try that. But right now I'm just going to go with the Tylenol. Sunday morning. No, it's not. It's Sunday afternoon. It's about 2 o'clock and I'm about to go check out a wedding venue. And this is one of the wedding venues that we really liked, but it was before we decided that we wanted a smaller wedding. So this venue would be for like an average size wedding, probably around like 80 plus people. And we've been talking kind of want like a smaller wedding where it's like 40 people-ish or less. So we'll kind of see how this one goes, but this was one of my favorite venues that I saw online. I really liked it. It's really beautiful. They have like the twinkly lights hanging from the ceiling. It's just really nice looking. And I think it would be nice because it's kind of outdoor, indoor. But we'll see, because we are kind of moving away from having a larger wedding and we're thinking of just having a small intimate wedding. So hopefully this just isn't a waste of time, but we still definitely wanted to check it out and just keep our options open. So that's what I'm on my way to do now. So I just got to the venue and it's in kind of it's north of Atlanta, so it's kind of further from the city. And it is kind of country driving out here, so it's kind of like, ooh. Like, I'm from the suburbs / city area, and my boyfriend is from the suburbs / city area, so we're not very used to like country stuff. But I just pulled into the venue area, and it looks so cute. Like, my heart lit up. I'm like, oh, this is so cute. So I'm about to walk in there now and actually check it out. So I'm excited.
Don't forget all the lovely things we plan to do today.
Just a month.
Oh, congratulations.